There are two forms that she had to sign. She had to sign one on day one, in which she took an oath to preserve in the government's possession government records. If she signed it, and 2 weeks later diverted the government records to her husband's server in Chappaqua, New York, she probably committed perjury.
All right, it's going to be very interesting. And of course, the document on the way out that she had to sign. And if she signed it, you don't sign it until you say all the records, everything has been handed over. She handed over nothing until 2 years later, and she still, I don't know what she still hasn't handed it all over. So that would, if she signed it, would be perjury again. Now, we welcome in the Malzberg panel Lisa Jandovitz, a co-host of Close Encounters on WLIW, and C. Edmund Wright, columnist, Breitbart.com, an American thinker and author of WTF, Karl Rove and the Republicans Lost Again. Now, I got to tell you, Elisa, the fact is Fox News has been after the State Department. Maybe Megyn Kelly will have an answer by tonight, although I think they would have probably previewed that. I haven't seen it on their website. Asking, did Hillary sign that document at the end of her tenure, as every other State Department person has to sign, and as Secretary of State has to sign, saying everything's been handed over, everything classified, everything whatever. And if she did, she lied. And if she didn't, why didn't she? So I don't see how she gets out of this.
I don't see how she gets out of any of this, actually, because even if she signed it, we know that she did not hand everything over. She determined what to hand over. Who does that when you're Secretary of State? And there's just so many unanswered questions. Why have a private server to begin with? There was, her giving that press conference, I don't know who she thought was going to believe the reasons that she was giving as a matter of convenience. So, yes, now we need to see if she signed this, because then I guess it could be perjury. But we need to see what else we have not seen, particularly relating to Benghazi.
Well, I believed Hillary. I took off 2 of my accounts that I have on my BlackBerry and bought 2 new phones, so now I have 3 phones with 3 accounts because Hillary educated me. Edmund, this legal problem, this legal conundrum that she seems to be in, and how the State Department cannot be forthcoming and just answer a question, did she sign the document or not?
Well, you got to understand the State Department are a bunch of diplomats, and the key skill for being a diplomat is to never answer a tough question ever under any circumstance. But I actually think, in addition to the legal problems, Hillary's got a cool factor problem. I mean, she seemed as out of touch with technology as Beatrice from the Esurance commercial campaign, thinking she's tech savvy. But, some cartoonist needs to come up with a Beatrice Hillary, political cartoon or Photoshop or something. But I just keep seeing Hillary and thinking Beatrice, and I think that's going to really hurt her with younger voters.
Well, Nate Cohn in the New York Times wrote a piece headlined, Hillary Clinton is more vulnerable in 2016 than you think. And he talks about the fact that, and I'll just circle one thing, the polls now show her favorability rating beneath 50%, making her a fairly typical candidate. Her numbers are much more similar to Obama and Romney's ratings in 2012 than her own ratings from 2 years ago. She has, in other words, he writes, gone back to being what Mr. Obama supporters alleged in 2008, a polarizing figure. Edmund, I think if she becomes the nominee, which I still think if she runs as a Democrat she will, I think the Republicans have an awesome opportunity here.
No, I do. I've actually never, Steve, bought into her as the inevitable nominee, let alone the inevitable president. Normally when things are that obvious 2-3 years out, they actually never come to pass for any number of reasons. And what we've seen with Hillary is the more we see of her, the lower her poll ratings go. That doesn't bode well for a campaign.
Yeah, Lisa, I mean, I think if the right Republican candidate goes after her the right way, I think it'll resonate.
Absolutely. We have to remember she did not win 8 years ago, and she lost to Obama. And her likability, if there was a likability level, seems to have gone down. We have to always remember she's not her husband. She does not have that ability, that charisma, that charm that he was able to do. No matter what he got himself into, he was able to relate to people. He was able to speak. You saw her at that press conference. She was annoyed that she even had to be there to explain herself. And that resonates with people. People can see she's above that, and that's not going to bode well for her at all.
I'm keeping the server. Like, that server stays with me. You know, I'll have someone explain the law to you a little later on. Those answers were outrageous. All right, when we come back, the panel will rejoin us, folks, and we're going to talk about another female politician who wants to be Attorney General, and we don't know if Loretta Lynch is going to make it. John McCain says he's voting no. He sat here and told me he thinks she's great. What changed his mind? More coming up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, currently there are 4 Republican senators who are openly in support of Loretta Lynch's nomination to be the next Attorney General, succeeding Eric Holder. One of those Republican senators is not John McCain, by the way, who, when I had him on here a couple of months ago before any hearings started, said that he thinks she'll pass with ease. If it's just 4 Republican senators, which does include Lindsey Graham, by the way, then it would be 50-50. And guess who would be the deciding vote in the Senate? That's right, Joe Biden. Couldn't wait for that whole optic to take place. But let's get back to the panel. Lisa Jandovitz and C. Edmund Wright. And Lisa, you know, this was supposed to be a nomination that would sail through the Senate, and it hasn't worked out that way so far.
It hasn't, and it'll go down to the wire, but she'll get in. But for whatever reason, I don't know why McCain had flipped on this, and yet his allies are voting against her. And it'll be interesting to see if this will affect McCain at all in the long run. Should he run for re-election, which he likely will, he will not have the support of Senators Graham and Flake. The other thing is, though, as you mentioned, if it all Democrats, which will likely vote for her, and only 4 Republicans and no others vote for her, then we know that what the outcome is going to be. So it's just going to stretch it out a little bit longer, but ultimately she will be the nominee. Edmund Wright,
McCain's given reason is that she supports the executive order on immigration by Obama. Lindsey Graham is obviously dead set against that immigration order, but he nonetheless supports her. If we could flip him, if we could flip one more, if they could flip one more Republican senator, she loses. What do you think the likelihood of that would be?
No, Steve, you need to think the house of cards. The fix is in. It's going to be 50-50, and Joe Biden, unless he has a senior moment and votes the wrong way by accident, will confirm her. But no, let me tell you, McCain knows the score. He's in a primary fight, 2 challengers. He wants Loretta Lynch, but he knows he can't admit it, and he doesn't have to because the fix is in. This is a classic vote swap, and his little twink boys, Flake and Graham, are not going to turn on him. They're going to follow their marching orders because, let's face it, all 3 of them really want executive amnesty. They just don't want to admit it.
Interesting take. All right, let's all watch a video of what happened in a McDonald's store in Brooklyn as one girl is ganged up on and beaten to where she was unconscious. Let's watch it. She's already out, and they keep stepping on her head, dragging her. You get the picture there. Lisa, you're shaking your head.
I think what is one of the most disturbing things about this is that people are videotaping this and people are watching like it's a spectator sport. I find that so disturbing. It says something about our society. People are standing around watching this and taping it.
And Edmund, I think it also speaks volumes that you're not going to hear from Al Sharpton. You're not going to have Barack Obama say, she reminds me of my daughter, because simply put, the girls beating her up were black also.
Yeah, no, exactly. And this is just, we have an attorney general and a president who on Ferguson and another number of issues have added to the coarseness of society and have added to the tensions. And certainly this awful economy is adding to everyone's tensions. So this is hope and change, fundamentally transformed America, getting worse by the day.
Yep. All right. Listen, I want the both of you to have a great weekend. I thank you very much. I know, Lisa, are you back on the Daily Wrap tonight?
Yes, I am.
All right. Lisa will be back at 6 p.m. Eastern right after this show with the Daily Wrap. And we'll see you soon, Edmund. And thank you both. Joining us right after the break will be me. That's right. I will join us with the Gimme 5. It's coming up next. Don't miss it on the Steve Malzberg Show.